Good afternoon. My name is Brian Van Hinter. I would like to talk to you today about the wonderful game of football, also known as American football. It's a game that I truly love. I got to play it for a little while. There's so many great things about football. It can be a learning experience. There's a lot of skill. There's a lot of strategy. It can be played by many different people, many different age groups, different sizes. The game of football is played on a field. That field can be regular grass, it can be artificial turf. Um, the thing about artificial turf is it's a little bit safer to play on, but it's not as fun because you don't get mud splashing all over your face, which makes it a little bit fun when you're tackling somebody. The football field itself, as you can see, has lines on it. It is 53.5 yards wide. It is 100 yards long. There's 2 end zones. Each of those end zones is 10 yards in length. So about approximately a little smaller than a soccer field. I know a lot of people are pretty familiar with a soccer field, so a football field is a little bit smaller. The game of football itself, the American football played in America, is based with 22 people on the field at one time. So you would have 11 on offense and 11 on defense. There are some parts of the country where the population is not as small at lower levels like high school, where you don't have that many people competing in this sport, so they actually play 7-on-7 or what's called 8-man football, which is a lot of fun. This game is also starting to expand internationally, so you get people in many different countries. My favorite team in professional sports is the New England Patriots. This team actually is starting to have a very big global following. There's a big population in Germany that follows the Patriots. I believe there's also one in Australia and New Zealand that currently follow the Patriots. Very big. So what I love myself about football is personally I love the strategy. There's a lot of different formations you can have, a lot of different rules. Also, there's a lot of physicality to football, which kind of takes into consideration a person's height, speed, strength, ability to jump, ability to pass, ability to throw. There are specialized positions on the field that only do a certain thing, like there are people who kick the ball very far, there are punters who punt the ball very far, and of course I mentioned earlier you got quarterbacks who can throw the ball very, very far. So you also have specialized people who only block. Those typically tend to be very, very large human beings, especially in the professional rings. The diversity of football is pretty awesome. You will get some guys on the same team. You'll get players who are 5'5" and 150 pounds. They also have teammates who are 6'7", 6'8", 380, sometimes 400 pounds. So you get a wide variety. It's played at all different levels. Like I said, from those little tykes all the way up to professional. College plays it. There's multiple different levels in college. There's Division I, there's Division I FCS, there's Division II, Division III football, there's intramural football. There's also a thing called speed football, where they top out if you weigh over 180 pounds, you can't play speed football. So you get a lot of diversity there. There are a bunch of different professional leagues that have gone through. The NFL is the biggest, most popular one, globally known. You get a lot of tremendous ratings on Sunday. There's even teams in Alaska, imagine that, freezing cold, freezing cold, and you're out there playing at ESPN followed a high school in Alaska. They have a blue field, and I remember during the practice they were showing it was -20, and the kids on the team were out there in shorts, talking about how nice the weather was that day. Imagine that, -20. I'd be freezing with some coats on, and they're out there in shorts, because once you get moving, it's all good. I believe the first football game was played in the 1800s. I want to say 1892 was the first game. Still played today. The game is still evolving. It's taken on many, many iterations between tackle football. You also have something called arena football, which is played on a much smaller field indoors. It's typically played in like a shared stadium, basketball or a hockey stadium, much smaller field. You also have a thing that's growing in popularity called flag football, where there's no tackling at all. It's just for flags you attach on your hips. That's for people who are very shifty. Not so much myself. I'm not the shiftiest person, so I prefer tackle. I'm a little slower, but hey, we're not all blessed with great gifts like that. So football offers a lot for everybody.